everybody, it's Ashton with Cookin Country. I am so excited to be with y'all again today, cooking, talking, sharing stories, whatever I can think about. Y'all know I like to talk if you've watched my previous 4 episodes. But today we are especially excited, I'm especially excited to be bringing this show to y'all, Cookin Country, from my own kitchen. I just moved into a brand new house, me and my husband and my family. And we had been in a single wide trailer for many years. And so we filmed my first episode at my mother-in-law's house because we just did not have the space in a single wide trailer. And of course, I didn't put that information out there for everybody at first. Just simply because I thought, well, maybe we can do a switcheroo, do one episode at my aunt's house, and we still may do something like that. But for now, I'm extra excited, as y'all can tell, that I'm in my kitchen, super proud of it, got lots of space, and we're going to be doing a really neat, I guess what you'd call a quick dinner, but we're going to do a cool homemade mac and cheese that I like to cook on the holidays. And for a side, I thought about bringing in maybe some frozen broccoli, something like that, or you could do something easy like just open you a can of green beans. But for today, we're going to stick with an onion garlic baked chicken and the homemade mac and cheese. And we're going to get started in just a second. All right, we're going to start with our chicken. I've already got it washed, so I didn't have to watch me do all that boring stuff. But I could not find, I normally like to buy the chicken breast that has the ribs or still has the bone and stuff on it because it just kind of makes a little more flavor. But today, y'all can see what we are working with here. I'm going to pick up our cutting board. We've got some yummy, big chicken breasts here, and I'm going to season it up. I'm going to bring this over here for seasoning purposes. I have my seasoning stuff on the other counter, but we're going to do a little salt, of course. I like to season, I think y'all could tell from my previous episodes, I like salt, pepper, garlic, Creole. But now, what we're going to do a little different today is really onion this up and put butter, of course, like I mentioned. Let's see, here we go. And like I say, that is one important pointer on how I do typically like my chicken is with the meat, the rib meat stuff. This is the boneless, skinless, which is fine, but to me it doesn't taste as good as cooking it the other way. Now here we're putting a little bit of garlic powder. Won't need much because I'm going to put some minced garlic in just a minute. Here's a little soul food seasoning for something different. Of course, we're going to have to turn our chicken over in just a minute and get the other side. Okay. A little bit of onion powder. Not going to need a lot of onion powder either because we're going to be putting a lot of onion on this. And baked chicken is so easy. I mean, it's something that especially when you're in a hurry and thinking, I do not want to be standing frying something today, and it's healthier. You can just stick it in the oven and get her going. We're going to season our other side, and then we're going to get to cutting up some onions. Got some big old chicken breasts here. Now, of course, my husband says that he'd rather have fried chicken. And being Southern, this is a Cookin Country show. Normally we do fried chicken, but we have to be healthy sometimes. That's why we got to put a lot of seasoning. Salt. Doing the same thing on the other side. Salt, pepper, garlic Creole. You know what? I don't have my pepper. Just get my pepper. And as y'all can tell too, from our previous episodes, we are very comfortable in the kitchen. And I try not to do any retakes. I just do this straight through and try to be natural with y'all because this is from my kitchen to your kitchen. So that everybody feels comfortable and knows that it's okay to mess up and not be perfect all the time. Okay, now this is what I use. You can use a black iron skillet to put your chicken in, but I use this because I don't have to worry about the juices with pieces of chicken this big. If you put it in a too shallow of a cooking dish, you will have a mess in your oven. It'll bubble up and it will cause a mess. So we don't want that. So what we want to do is get our chicken over in here, and then we're going to be back in just a second cutting up we won't have to cut our garlic because it's already minced, but we will be cutting up our onions to put on here, and we will cover this with butter and show you just a little bit more preparation. We'll stick her in the oven. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take, I'm very excited too, talking about the new kitchen, new house. I have 2 ovens, which is so very, very nice and convenient for many reasons. We're gonna walk over here and I'm gonna do my upper oven on 350 degrees. And this is an older oven. So what we are looking at here is not having a timer like I'm used to, and it cooks hotter. So this goes back to ovens vary. But this is 350 up in my upper oven. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our onion here. We're just gonna cut this into rings here on my plate. I did have a, I had another cutting block thing somewhere, but I don't know where it went. Let's see if it'll be either. There we go. Yeah. Get us some good rings going. I don't know about y'all, but now, if you're not a big onion fan, this may not be your dish, but if you're not, then you don't have to, it's the onions with it, but to me it just makes it so good. This was something, the baked chicken was something Mama always fixed a lot at home. Now she would do, her recipe included taking and like putting green beans in there with it and some potatoes. We may do that another day. Sort of almost like doing an all-in-one dish. And she always had the most tender baked chicken. And I guess the trick to that is maybe cooking it a little bit lower for a little bit longer. But today, we're going to be cooking the chicken on 350 degrees for about an hour and a half. And again, you know, you kind of have to watch it. And like I said, in my oven, this being a new oven for me, it cooks faster. So I have to really keep an eye on it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take and put all this onion in here. And we're definitely going to need a little bit more. And I have some in the fridge. What we're going to do, we're going to cut this onion up same as the other. And we're going to put our garlic on there. And then we're going to be sticking her in the oven. And then we're going to get started on our homemade mac and cheese. Okay, we are just about ready for our baked chicken. In the oven, we've got it preheating to 350 degrees. Now right now, I'm not measuring this. We are going to be putting enough water, probably halfway, if your pot's around the size of mine. I do about half full of water for my macaroni and cheese noodles. Or maybe a little under half. They'll fool you sometimes, but I'm not sure how many cups that is, but I mean, you can kind of just eyeball it. Now, I'm going to set this over here, turn it up on high, and we're going to be waiting on our water to get hot. Meanwhile, we'll get our little spoon here. I'm going to take some of our garlic. We don't want way too much because garlic is strong. But garlic is so good for you. Talking about, you know, just sort of a healthy alternative meal. It's definitely yummy stuff and puts a lot of flavor there. Now, you don't have to do this. The chicken's going to make its own water, as I mentioned earlier. But what I like to do is put just a little bit of water. Do it like that around in your pan to cover the bottom. Now, looking at getting us some butter. Here. Can't go wrong with butter. And some good seasoning. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I can just take like the onions off this and just eat it. But that's just because I like onions so much. Some people aren't onion fans, and I understand that. Now, with my husband, sometimes I trick him. I put a lot of onion powder on stuff when he doesn't want the onions. But I've kind of like grown him into the onions. I'm like, look, you don't like okra. Can y'all believe that? You don't like okra. He's got several things that I love that he doesn't like. I'm like, you're gonna have to hit a happy medium with me on the onions. All right, so here we are. We've got, I think I'm happy with my amount of butter. And we're gonna put our lid on here and wipe my fingers. And we are gonna cook this for about an hour and a half. Like I said, it could get done a little bit quicker. Now, another little trick to your chicken, an hour and a half, about 40 minutes into cooking it, you can take and you can turn it over and kind of put that other side down into the juice. That kind of helps it to be more tender and juicy and stuff. My oven is not the cleanest in the world, but it cooks good. Let's see. All right. Now, like I said, we're going to do that for about 40 minutes, and then we're going to look at it. We're going to see if we want to turn it over. Her garlic put up over there. Now, here's our cheese. I had trouble once more talking about the store. I couldn't find, people call it hook cheese or the red rind cheese. I could not find that. They didn't have it. So I bought some extra sharp, like an easy melt style cheese, along with this, which is still an easy melt, but it's just not as sharp. Now what I'm going to take and do here is I'm going to cube this up, do like this. Now I'm starting with, this is probably going to be, we'll measure it out in a cup and see what we've got. Probably a couple cups of cheese. But now I watch my macaroni and see kind of, you know, what I want to do. And if it's not cheesy enough, I put a little more. Then I'll taste test it. I think that's kind of like what we all like to do in the kitchen. That's why we ain't never hungry when our food gets done. I say that and I sit down and eat just as much anyway. What we're going to do, we're going to finish cutting up this cheese. We're going to see how much this measures out to. And when our macaroni gets good and boiled, we're going to put this cheese in there with the burner on low. We're going to get it melted up. Okay, we are back and we are ready to get our nicely done tender. Gotta wait till they're tender. These have been cooking about 10 to 12 minutes. Sometimes it takes 15 minutes for my macaroni noodles to get tender. Sometimes they'll be almost too tender in 8 or 9 minutes. But most averagely, you're not going to cook them over 12 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that. And two, we got a lot of noodles. You see we got them really boiling here. I'm going to turn off our burner. We're going to take and my little trickaroo here to kind of the one-handed thing. Now, this was 3 cups. I usually use 2.5 to 3 cups of macaroni noodles. The difference there is just going to be how big of a crowd you have. Now, this amount is like a holiday amount. I mentioned in the start that homemade mac and cheese is something that I fix sort of like part of Ashton's dishes through Christmas and Thanksgiving. That's part of one of my sides that I fix for everybody that's yummy and good that we don't always get because we usually make the just easy old boxed mac and cheese. But y'all can find the recipe, of course, at eWave TV, my channel on eWave, the Foodie Network, Ashton Shepherd. And you're also going to be able to find in Country Weekly. They are being very good to me and kind, and they are doing a feature on, I guess, you know, cooking and during the holidays and whatnot. And this recipe will be featured in there also. You can be looking for that around Thanksgiving time. I don't know when Thanksgiving falls this year, but you can be looking for that. But meanwhile, here's what we're going to do. We've got our noodles. Okay, we want to stay warm. So what I'm going to do, I turn the burner off. But let's go back over here and turn it on very low, the lowest it can go, because you don't want it to scorch, because that happens sometimes. All right, now this here, let's do a measurement so we know where we're at. Because my recipe with in the Country Weekly recipe that I'd given them, I believe was 2 cups of cheese. And so this may be a little bit more, but that's okay, because that just makes it yummier. It makes it cheesier. Let's see here. Well, look at that. I got one more little finished up thing. That's going to be about right. So let's dump this over in there at, this is 2 cups of our easy melt. So I'm actually doing 1 cup extra right now from what that recipe will be. I'm going to cut that up really quick in here. And then the cheese over here actually did end up being a little bit harder cheese than I thought it was. It was the Cracker Barrel cheese, extra sharp. That's all I could find. Not that I don't like that cheese, but I typically buy what I mentioned, hook cheese, which has the red rind on it. That's what I usually use for this recipe. But this is what we're using today. It's still a little bit sharper, a little bit better. So, we're looking at 3 cups of cheese here. All right. Now, here is a little special. I mentioned Miss Rachel for my other 4 episodes a good bit. This is a little tip from her on this mac and cheese. It's cream of mushroom soup that we're going to add in there. And we're going to get us a decent little size spoon here, and we're going to get us a little bit of butter to put in there. Okay. And we're going to take our measuring cup. We're going to get us a little bit of milk. I'm going to do a 1/2 cup here. Let's see where we at on that. Now, yeah, that is going to be, you can see, yum, yummo. Now, this is just another step in the mac and cheese. Now, you're looking at an easy meal. We're baking chicken, so we're not having to stand with it or do anything with it. But the homemade mac and cheese just sort of makes this meal kind of hearty, because we went healthy with the chicken. We made up for it here with all the cheese. So, let's do this. We got our cheese kind of wanting to melt because we've got a good, nice heat, but we want to put it back here. Now, that was a half a cup of milk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here with a little more milk, because to me that looked a touch dry. Oh yeah, you can hear it. You can hear it start sizzling. And put a little bit more milk. And you can just eyeball that to where you want it to be creamy wise. Okay. Also want to keep this stirred because you do not want it to scorch. Now, if you do, I have actually seen some people's homemade mac and cheese have that little crust look to it. You can do that, but I kind of like mine to keep its creamy little touch here. So what we're going to do, we're going to have to wait on our cheese to melt here. Then we're going to stick her in the oven for probably 10 minutes just to let some cheese over the top melt. And we'll be back in just a minute doing that, and we'll be close to done with some yummy, yummy baked chicken, some homemade mac and cheese, and like I mentioned, if you want to do a vegetable, we're not going to show how to do that today because we could just boil a little bit of broccoli or do some green beans or something like that if you want something green. But we're just doing starches and meats today. Okay, we have got our macaroni almost ready. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our creamy, yummy macaroni. Oh, so good. All right, we're going to pour it in here. Look at that. Oh my. Talk about good. Now, see my scorching? It did happen. That's okay. Because it doesn't like make it taste bad. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. I just don't like stuff to stick. But that's okay because the brown is staying in the bottom here. But now, here's where, who knows? That might be the best macaroni I've ever made to have that little bit of stuff in there. Okay. Now we have gotten it all in here. I'll set my pot over here, and we're going to spread this out a little bit. Like I say, now this is a big old batch. So this is a company batch. This is a holiday batch of homemade mac and cheese. Can't beat it. Up there with some turkey and dressing or the baked chicken like we're fixing today. Okay. Now, just to kind of top it off, what did I do with my cheese earlier? Oh, there it is. Well, I sat over there by my knives. But I'm going to get some sharp cheddar cheese. Just to make it look pretty, we're going to scatter a little bit like this over the top, and it just makes it look nice, makes it look a little fancy. And something else too far as breads. On my previous episodes, I showed you my two main breads, biscuits and cornbread. And so you can go back on those episodes and watch how to make those. Now, as far as like this, I would almost do like a garlic toast or just little U-baked rolls, or just something simple, just old plain bread roll. Just whatever you're looking for. Some people just like plain old white bread. So what we're going to do here, I've already got my oven here. It's a lower oven. I've got it on 350. We're going to stick it in there. And all we're doing here, our dish here is done. All you're wanting to do is just melt that top cheese. That's it. And once it's done, you have got your homemade mac and cheese. And we're going to do a little taste test in it in just a minute on both of the good smelling dishes. All right, y'all. We have just about got our onion, what was I going to call it? Onion, butter, garlic, baked chicken. That's baked chicken that I season with salt, pepper, garlic, Creole, and onion powder. I use a little bit of soul food seasoning. It's just a little mixed seasoning that I buy. But on this baked chicken in particular, I've used a little bit of minced garlic, a lot of onion, probably 2 onions chopped, like in rings. And I've also made a big old batch of homemade mac and cheese, which is something that I like to make during the holidays. This per se isn't a holiday meal, but I mentioned too, and want to plug that again, that at the end of November, close to the holidays and close to Thanksgiving, Country Weekly is going to have that homemade mac and cheese recipe. in their magazine. Right now, we're going to pull them out of the oven, and we're going to do a little bit of taste testing and see how they turned out. Right. Oh, it smells so good. I think I said this before. I feel sorry for the viewers because they can't smell or taste the food. So y'all got to cook it to get that enjoyment. But okay, cooking is enjoyable. It's a job now, but it's definitely very enjoyable. Homemade mac and cheese. All right, that is how that is looking there. Now, if we left it in there just maybe a little bit longer, it could have got a little bit of a creamier edge to it. But that sort of got that. I remember my daddy's mom, Mama, her homemade mac and cheese always kind of had this look. Like, it almost can look a little bit dry, but it's like almost like it had been fried or something. And I guess that's kind of the whole point of sticking it in the oven and baking it and making sure everything gets all yummy and gooey and stuff. But now, this meal's easy for sure. We're looking at, let me show y'all the chicken. Sit here. Ooh, yum, oh. So good. You see, I gotta get me a mitt and I'll make sure to turn it up where y'all can see it. Really yummy. Can y'all see that? Got some juices in there. Oh, it's got that little brown glaze on the top. Baked chicken. Now, this show is called Cookin' Country. Normally, like I said, we fry our chicken, but this is a good alternative. We're mixing it up good though with some homemade mac and cheese. So let's get a little bit of each. I'm just going to dig in here with my little fork I've already got. Yum. Look there. So good. It's going to be yummy. I'm just getting a little taste, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to come back for more later. I think I'll just do the same thing. I think I'll use the same fork on my chicken here. Now to me, oh man, that chicken's falling apart. Now, seriously, y'all give me good luck. I mean, I had tried for a really long time. Mama's baked chicken was always so tender and juicy. It was never dry. That's hard to accomplish. I don't know if it's that oven, because I am in a new house, a new oven. But I don't know, that was probably some of the most juicy I had made in a long time. I don't know if it's got to do with the length of time that I've cooked it. It's been a couple of hours, but I cooked it that long because the breasts were bigger. They were thick, big old breasts. Y'all saw that in the beginning. That's enough talking myself. Try a little bite here. Oh, wow. That is what I needed right there. Just what the doctor ordered. Now, to me, we are missing a little something green here. I've mentioned a couple times throughout the episode. You can always get some frozen broccoli, something easy like that. Mix up a little salad, bag of salad, whatever you need. But, oh man, that's so good. Well, I'm going to thank y'all because whoever's watching is helping. I'm not joking. This is like the best. Mac and cheese. Can y'all tell I'm really enjoying this? Oh, wow. Alright, well, I'm going to have to leave y'all, but we're going to, of course, keep having episodes here at AshtonShepherd.ewave.tv. Everything Ashton Shepherd lives on AshtonShepherd.com. So today I'm Ashton Shepherd the cook, or I guess not really a professional cook, but somebody that likes to cook. Got a little cooking show. But you can buy my album from AshtonShepherd.com. You can buy it everywhere digitally. The name of my album is This Is America. So we're sort of combined in two worlds with me right now. I'm a country music singer. I've been in the record industry now since 2007. Was when I was first working with Universal Music Group, and it's grown from there. Now I have an independent record label of my own and a little cooking show. And I'm excited about all of it. I'm real proud to have y'all here. Y'all come back next time, and I'll be sure to have y'all cooking country.